Hello and welcome to my commentary video on my design documentary of the Unreal Design test, the heist. So firstly, when the player spawns into level, they will see the task there. Grab all the gold and then grab your gun and be quick, the alarm has been pulled. So when the player gets there, this introduces them to picking up the gold, so interacting with items. So when the player presses E, can pick up the gold. So you see here, pick up all the gold. Doing this reminds me of playing GTA Online, Diamond Casino Heist, because in there you only pick up one piece of gold at a time. So when the player's done that, obviously they can move over towards and grab their gun. Then this will open the door here. I've done this via a sequence. So before I go out there, obviously there's some cash on here where the player can actually pick up some of the cash, and that adds to the heist takings. So you see, so when the player does pick up the gold, it adds to the heist taken, which is in the top left. So the current taking is 4.5 million. So then when the player leaves, they obviously have their weapon, which so obviously there's red lights that are here to show that the obviously alarm's been pulled. Obviously players coming out the vault, so they are trying to escape the bank now. So you've got the drill there, two doors that they used to blow off. And then the player moves to the bank. Obviously the two sort of ways to the third floor are blocked off. Security door, so the player has one way, and that's to sort of go forward. So when the player comes down the stairs, obviously they see the sort of bank desk area, the main lobby. So obviously you got one of our crewmates saying obviously no one needs to be a hero, and obviously you got the two civilians here in the grey. Don't shoot our family and help. So when the player walks over here, a sequence will play, and obviously where you see the crewmate who's run outside has been shot, and obviously the doors will close, meaning the player now has to go back, and obviously this crewmate was spawned here. Seeing quick through here. So then when the player comes through here, obviously they're at the back of the teller's desk where they're saying help. See, obviously the player can pick up the loose cash there. There's loads of cash along here. There's obviously some panic buttons down below there. So the player comes through here, obviously you've got the toilets here, the player can see that. Then obviously they've got the stairs. So if the player goes up, obviously it block them off. They can't go through there, so they have to go down. So when the player comes down there, there's obviously a little secret here. Another civilian, the bank I was working at is being robbed. Send help. You can actually also shoot the civilians, so don't want to know where we are. So when the player comes through, here's the garage of the bank. So obviously they see this large gate here. And the crewmate is tasking us with what we need to do next. We need a keycard to open the door. It's in the security room. So the crew sort of got to help guide the player to their next destination in the level. So obviously we need a keycard, and obviously try to open it now. Pressing E, nothing's going to happen. So we need the keycard. Then the security room, and there's the security room. So the security room is in the garage. So this means the player doesn't have to go back through the bank. But yeah, so let's go there. So another sequence will play here, obviously. This obviously showing that there's two enemy guards and where the keycard is located. So this introduces the player to shooting. So obviously the player could shoot and take out the guards. So then obviously they see here that here's the keycard. That is what they need to open the gate. So where the player presses E and they already know how to interact, picks it up for them. So when the player moves through here, back through here, and then now they can open up the gate. That opens up there, then the player through to the next section of the level. When the player comes through here, this is the first full proper combat section. So obviously there's guards here, obviously they're ready to breach into the bank here. And obviously the player will have to take out all these guards here that are fighting. Obviously the player can shoot them, they'll die. And each combat section introduces the player into a new enemy type. So obviously you see here there's a shield unit. So this is obviously, if I shoot the shield it will destroy, but obviously the players are going to be, if I'm fighting from here, player can get an advantage. I mean the enemies obviously will go behind the shield to get sort of cover. So obviously you can take them out there. And also here you've got some police repelling about to sort of breach in, just like Siege. So they're going to breach and clear. Also you got more shield units and more guards, and also we got the dead crewmate here who's dead. So obviously So when the player next bit, obviously the player can shoot their way through, killing all the enemies with their gun. When the player's done this, they can move on to the next section, which is forward and down to the street. Obviously they'll see the two crewmates, so that should be able to help them sort of locate. So when they've killed them all, they move through here. So obviously with the street, so obviously the bank's here, so then the player can move backwards towards the next section of the sound. So obviously the van's just up the street, and Seth was a lunatic running out the van like that. No wonder he's dead, referencing the the crewmate who's died. So obviously the player would then need to head through. Another civilian there. Now the player will head here. So another sequence will play where you can see the van is seeing you and it's coming towards you, but unfortunately it does get hit by a police car and it gets rammed. So obviously when the player sees that, they're going to go, oh, we got to head there. So another sequence will play after the player's moved on, that the three police cars have come and more enemies have now spawned, and it also introduces the player to the new enemy of the sniper. So you can see the sniper there, they have a long red beam that can hit the player, so obviously we got to take them out. There we go. So that takes them out. So obviously got the yellow van here, that's sort of hiding, that's some more cover to the player, so obviously when the player shoots, they can take them out, fight him. So when the player obviously takes out all the enemies here, they can move on to the next section. And obviously got the sniper up there, got to take them out. So there you go. So one cool thing, so the van's here, but obviously if the player wants to go through into the next bit, there's actually an invisible wall that stops them, so in case the player wants to go straight towards over there, but we're not going to go there yet. So when the player obviously comes through here, sees the van, it's toppled over, see our two crewmates still here, says the driver's broke his leg, let's leave him, and this way we can loose him through here. So the next bit is obviously going through this alleyway, so this is sort of the down sort of time area where the player can obviously catch their breath after fighting. Move through here, then we'll see a door here, so the player realises that we've got to open this door, so when we open it, press E on the door, it opens. Bit into the abandoned apartment room, so obviously the place is abandoned. We see our another crew member, should be alright up here, so go up here, up the stairs, and obviously we see another civilian, any spare chains, so obviously this guy's been living in here. So then when we move through this bit, see here, so then we see the next another sequence. This is the sort of wow factor of the massive drawbridge that is being heavily guarded by the police. And obviously we get introduced our third and final new enemy type, and we also see the button that will start to lower the drawbridge. So we start moving through here. So either jump, and he's down here to get to the bridge. So we're going to land on the bed so we don't fall. Says the bed saves our fall, and then to lower the bridge you need to hit that button. So that just helps the player again that we need to hit that button. So obviously we see here two more guards, police officers, which we can take out. When we've done that, we can hit the big red button, which will start to lower the bridge. There you go. So now the bridge is on a 1 minute timer that it takes to lower. So the player will now have to take out all the other the police officers that are holding them down, that are trying to defend the player from escaping. Kill them all. Got snipers that we have to take care of. I can't hit my shots, apparently. Yeah. There you go. There we go. So then we've got some more enemies here. Loads of enemies, because this is meant to be the final sort of combat section that the player fights. So obviously there'll be loads of enemies here that the player has to take out while the drawbridge is lowering. So then we got our new enemy type, which is the bulldozer. So obviously when you shoot him once, he loses his armour. Shoot him in the legs. And obviously the helmet, got to shoot that a few times and then bang, he's gone. So again, got to aim for the head for this guy. Take him out. And then then we take him out, take out the other guys. Oh, got one more there. So that's all the enemies clear. So now we're clear. But obviously the player can see that on the other side of the bridge there's a lot more enemies there. So so one of the sequences here, this shows obviously that there's loads. But here is our new way to escape, and it is the yellow submarine. See the hatch opens there. So obviously we see we can run. We'll run through, dodging bullets, jump down here, then straight in to the yellow submarine with all our heist takings. So when we jump in, the hatch will shut, and then we'll be on our way escaping the level. So yeah, that has been my design commentary video on my Unreal design test. Thank you for listening.